What's up, Jason?
What's up, Kendra?
How's it going?
Going good. It's going good. We are finally live. I was thinking, I was listening to the music. Um, I felt like we should start by saying something like, "We are gathered here today for this two people to get married in this Kenny and I'm sorry, what's the name?
No.
There's a cooler sound on there. We could use.
Yes, but for right now, this is what we're doing.
We are gathered here today.
Okay, well, the gathering part is great. So, this is an opportunity for our friends and family, loved ones to kind of get some insight into who we are and why we are here. So, Jason, why are we here?
I don't know why are we here. I mean, no, we are here. We are here because we are empty nesters, and we are entering the next phase in our lives, like so many other people have done and are doing now and will do. And we're finding ourselves again, having all the experience that we have behind us, right? Work experience, marital experience in our case, raising two kids who are no longer kids, and yeah, we're finding ourselves in a new place and time.
Well, part of this also is to give some insight into what it's like for people who know us. They may know us separately from work, from our personal friendships, our families, and then this is opportunity to kind of see like what we're like together. And so the other thing too is for us to be able to share a little bit more of the insight on who we are separately, but also as a couple. And we're going to be vulnerable, right? We're going to share some things that sometimes don't get typically talked about. We're going to share things about like our love for each other, the challenges with that, the challenges of being parents, the challenges of being Black parents, being Black and in love, uh, all the things that come with that, those overlays that sometimes don't get talked about. So we'll be sharing some of those insights. And then from time to time, we'll have guests, we'll have people who we want to bring into the conversation because they either have expertise or they enrich the conversation that we're going to have to share a little bit more about their own journey. So this is a journey for us. This is our coupled story, but also our personal journeys and how those things intersect. So we're excited to be able to share this with you. We're test launching this platform. We hope to come to you once a month on a Sunday, maybe right before your Game of Thrones binge watching or your Sunday night football, and share our story.
Yeah, like I think one of the things we're going to have a lot of fun. I think with the videos, right? That we share with all of you, and it's these are real videos. They're not staged, really. They're really not staged videos. So there's going to be like hardly any editing at all. So, but we're going to look. We want to have a lot of fun. We want to
Mhm.
laugh. We want to live, and we want to really just advance. And so, yeah, we hope that you really just. We hope that everybody enjoys this who tunes in. So, what are we talking about tonight, though? What do we?
Okay, so question for you. So maybe just for those people who want to know the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you, your spiritual being. So how did we meet?
Uh, so Kendra and I have known each other since 1985, up in the Bronx, where people are fresh,
There was one DJ.
who had to pass the
He was
test.
he was down
What was
below.
his name?
He's ready to play. That's right, y'all. His name is AJ. That's our hip hop folks. If you have any relationship to hip hop, you know it started in the Bronx. So
Right.
yeah, the homage to
So yeah, but we met in 1985 in the South Bronx, and we would. I was 13 and you were 12, Kendra. So
yes.
that puts us actually at 38 years of friendship,
That's all
right?
you want to say? Yep. That's it. That's how
No,
we
I'm
met.
just saying, I mean,
Oh, yeah,
because we
yeah.
started out as friends. I think what people need see, this is where
See?
we need to go to a commercial break.
Right. It's like, oh baby, you you, got, you say you just a friend. Uh
So,
we did start our friends,
yeah,
right?
we were friends. We
You
were
were the
friends.
big head boy across the street. So much so that even in 2022, my mother calls him Big Head. So it's stuck
Yeah.
since 1985.
She called me that actually after she caught us making out in her living room.
Oh, that wasn't me. I was some other person. I don't know what you're talking about. All I know
Well,
is
what happened to the truth and nothing but the truth?
and Big Head, what happened to it? So 1985, Big Head boy
See,
across the
we get your
street.
mom's on here and she'll tell the story like it is.
You know what? She needs to come on here. She
But it
at
was
one
only
point
a 2 week. We were only going out for 2 weeks.
that's what you did in 1980s. So like young people go out with each other for and go out meant like I like you, check yes, check no. And then it's like, ew, I don't like you anymore. And you didn't give me my favorite Snicker bar. Like, I mean, it was crazy, but we are both from New York City. So I
Yes.
was born in Harlem and moved to the Bronx in 1985. My mother was part of sort of a pilot program in New York City at the time to provide affordable housing to low income families. She was a single mother. And so that's how Jason and I got connected because there were these homes being built in the South Bronx. My mother was selected to be part of that program. And so there were a series of row houses being built um, between 181st and 182nd Street in the Bronx. And then Jason's cousin lived across the street. And then that's how we met. So it was a group of us, New Yorkers. We literally were in the street every day and we became a core neighborhood group of people. And Jason was sort of invited in that group by proxy because your cousin lived across the street. So that's
That's right.
how we met each other in 1985. And now I think about it, 30 some odd years later, that movement, those decisions that our parents made, our cousins made, actually brought us together. And so it's strange, even now, to look at Jason. And I know it's strange for him to look at me and be like, how is it possible that from 1985 to now, like we became a couple? I think growing up, we had vastly different experiences, different households, different upbringings, and somehow we've got connected. So now as empty nesters, we are trying to figure this new journey of our lives out, right? Knowing that we have very deep history from, you know, being 12 and 13 years old to being 50 years old.
Well, and we should let people know just to provide that detail that we got married in 1990. Should let people know just
Oh, there's an echo. Sorry.
we got married in 1996,
Yeah.
right? So yeah,
Mhm.
so it was roughly 10, almost 11 years after after being just friends, really, that we got married. So people shouldn't think that we've been together like as a couple since
Oh yeah, please
1995.
no, because that would be wrong.
Yeah,
But
no,
for us, I mean, it just that didn't work.
no, no, that wouldn't work.
That wouldn't do it. So so we have two sons, like Jason said. One is 22, the other is 20. And right before the pandemic, well, yeah, one was heading to college, right? So one was heading into college. We had another who was a junior. And so we were preparing for what life would look like once they left the nest egg, which is why we kind of focus on the empty nesters piece of this journey. And so now we have one who's living on his own and another one who's in college. And so we're literally home together alone. And
And
for
y'all
the
they may
yeah.
know one of our sons, and the other one, people who are close to us, our youngest, they'll know him too. But So we got Julian and Justice are their names. So that way you know when we refer to them or we show you different videos and stories that those are our sons. That's their names.
Yeah. So and you'll hear us talk about them in many different ways because they're so different. They're so different. And there'll be something similar about them and us, right? There are things about them that are very much like Jason and I. So um, we'll find that quite funny. So with that said,
Well, Julian looks like me, and then Justice looks like Kendra.
well, that's one thing. But in terms of personalities,
Right.
we debate this, and Jason's like, no, no, no. I'm sorry. I'm just going to say it. Julian is so much like Jason, and Justice is so much like me. And I would say in personalities,
But in terms of talents, Julian
Julian
has a
has
lot
my
of
creative talent.
Kendra's talents,
Yes.
like singing and stuff like that, and then Justice has more of my talents in terms of like finance, putting things together, and kind
Right.
of just being a handy person and stuff like
Yes.
that. So
That's kind of how it goes. So
yeah,
sometimes we get into like, things with our kids, but you probably do too. So we were getting our freedom at some point, close to 2020, and we were actually anticipating what this would look like. And then the pandemic sort of actually brought us back together. And so we were trying to figure out like what is going to be this new life with two kids out of the house. And we actually were looking forward to it. There's some people we talk to
because
and we say, oh, we are about to be empty nesters. Like, aren't you going to cry? And I think they get surprised. And we're like, no, what are y'all
no,
talking about? Like, we did our work. Like, 18 years of that for each kid. We did our work. We wanted like go off and do good, children. Like take what we taught you and do your thing.
right, be
Yeah.
out.
Be out. And here's the thing too. So there is an interesting comment about that culturally because I think when we talk about people leaving the nest and our kids going off, that can also be contrary in traditional ancestral culture. So, Jason, the family unit is important. So, what we're not saying here is that like our kids needed to leave the nest and forever be gone. I mean, yes, and we want them to learn. It's almost like the coming of age. They need to take what they need to experience the world, which I think will bring our family unit stronger. So we don't necessarily subscribe to this way of thinking that you have to go and like never come back. It's like you have to go so that when you come back, meaning come back as part of the family unit, stronger with an understanding of why you were taught the way you were taught, why you move so that you can create your family unit. I mean, we have some ideas about things we want to do with our families in general. So we're not knocking intergenerational family units where grandma and grandpa and children at home. That's important to build that family wealth. But our two sons need to experience the world differently than we experience it. They need to grow up in it. They need to fail. They need to, and they have tools. They do have tools to help get them up, but they have to experience some of those things without us being right there, like grabbing them. So that's a little bit about my thinking around it. Um, and so yeah, I think it's a little different culturally too.
Yeah, I think what I always tell people is that our children. Let me better say it like this. We have Kendra and I have given our children, our sons, the lives or the childhoods that we wish we had in a lot of respects. But again, they also lack the perspective that we have and that we've had, right? So, and I think you were getting to this as well, Kendra. That look, our own children, everybody's children, they have to grow up and they have to gain that perspective in life, and we all try to prepare our kids to, go off into the world and do their own thing. And we just wanted to make sure that we provided that to them. And and I think we as we go on with this show, we should, talk about things like, preparing your kids, and trying to, empower them, support them,
Mhm.
and also not help avoid hampering them, with one of the things that I like to talk about a lot, which is debt. Putting them
Mhm.
in college and then giving them all of this debt that they have to try to overcome while starting their own lives. So I think there's just a lot of things for us to talk about, and of course we rely on the audience, you, the audience, for engagement as well. So while we do want this to be fun, we also want you to be engaged, and we want to have greater conversations around the topics that we choose, and perhaps we can glean some things from each of you as we go through this journey in finding ourselves.
Yeah. And so let's just talk about what are we or what are you looking forward to as you enter your next phase, right? So for us, um I'm looking forward to spending more time. So I have changed jobs most recently. So that will keep me sort of in more close proximity to Jason than before, like literally across 5 feet. We are going to be sharing an office.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. So for my entire work life, I've always worked outside of the home. So I am an educator as a teacher. I commuted in New York City. During the pandemic, I still was commuting to work. Like some of y'all were home and offices were shut down. Not my school district. At least the certain people within the school district reported every day. I reported every day to work, did not stay home while the world was shut down. Let me tell you, that commute was fabulous because there was nobody on the road but some deer. And like, I was like, is that like a goat? I mean, just things were, it was just different. So this is going to be the first time that Jason and I are going to have like time in the same space together. And so it's going to be different for us, and that's okay. First of all, shout out to the 4 people who are looking right now and checking in with us. Feel free to put something in the Facebook chat and send us your love. We are ticking up. So I'm looking forward to how we could you know separately live into our passions and the love and work we do, but also I get to see it, right? I get to see what Jason is doing, like from during the day, and he gets to kind of see a little more insight more closely in what I'm doing because we can just kind of imagine being in separate places what we do. So that should be interesting. Um, it could be a challenge. I don't know, right? So it could be like we see each other too much. I mean, like when I say see, I mean where I'm sitting right now, I can see him, right? Not right this second, but I can see his office space. So it should be interesting to see how that might work.
So yeah, I mean, I think it would be helpful, especially too. One, we should tell people how long these sessions will be, right? I mean, we're aiming for 30 minutes,
Hmm.
right? But let's give people also some background, as to what you've done professionally, and I'll do the same.
Okay, why don't
So
you
yeah,
start?
yeah. So some of friends, I've acquired, just over time, long term relationships. I've worked at the Federal Reserve Bank of New York for 10 years down in the Wall Street area, and left after 9/11, but actually like 2004. Um, After that, started Edible Arrangements franchise. Actually, Kendra and I, and my mother-in-law, Karen Washington, we started an Edible Arrangements franchise in New York City, and ultimately sold that and relocated down here to Georgia, which is where we reside now, and I've been down here ever since 2007. And after that, been in the franchise world for a little while, at Quiznos, and then moved on to doing some sales work with General Motors, and then got into contracted food sales, which is something that so some people may be chiming in or from that, and did that for several years, and now post pandemic, I manage Julian Bass, our oldest son, and I also trade. I trade stocks and options. So that'll be something that if Kendra shows on now on her end my setup, during the day I'm really busy with that, Monday through Friday. So that's what I've been doing, and we have just more things. I mean, I should also say that I have started. I produced a DVD on how to write a business plan. So that's something that you'll find on my channel as well on YouTube. But that's it. Yeah, Kendra.
So I started my career as a teacher, but before that, my degree is in communication, film, and television. So this is a world that's not too unfamiliar, which is why Jason said some of our children share some of our talents. So Julian Bass is a what's the name, hyphenate,
A
whatever,
multi hyphenate. Yeah.
multi hyphenate. He does acting and singing and dancing and visual effects and all this fabulous stuff. So I started my interest in my career in film and television, but became an educator. And not even, I don't want to say, but became an educator. Became an educator after my experience at a university that I felt like we need to really understand how to leverage education, and we need to have teachers who can help students contribute in a different way, like upend the current system that just basically is not working for kids of color. So I became a teacher. I was working as a third and fourth grade teacher in the South Bronx, then a middle school teacher teaching social studies and language arts, founded a middle school, became a middle school principal in Harlem. And then when we moved to the state of Georgia, I started working in a large school district, um, really supporting leadership development. In fact, growing those aspiring leaders and supporting veteran leaders to do their very best. I absolutely love the fact that I'm an educator. I think I was born for it. And I currently, so goodness gracious, as of September 29th, I left that particular school district after 14 years and 9 months. And I'm starting to work with a national organization supporting leadership development work, specifically through the lens of cultural responsive leadership and equity. So I am in my full wheelhouse now. For those of you who have seen my journey over the past few years, I have been um, going through my own personal, professional transformation in the work of education, but also as a Black female leader. And what's upcoming for me and Jason is that we have this podcast we're going to do every month, sharing our story of our family. But on top of that, I am in partnership with my wonderful friend, Kelly Horner, and we wrote a book. In fact, a little sneak peek of our book called Unwrapped. We are starting a company called Lucy Leadership Project, and Kelly and I will share more about that, and our friends and family will learn more about that. But we are really working on providing strategies and tools for women in educational leadership spaces that are navigating treacherous work every day in service to students. And in my new organization, I get the opportunity to do that on top of the wonderful work and do to support leaders. So you can see I'm very passionate about education and the work that I do. And I'm really excited about being able to support women educational leaders, because our work has been really, really hard, continues to be. We continue to be put in places that are tough under very uh, difficult circumstances and our expectations are much higher, and we have expectations for ourselves because as women, that's what we do. And so how do we stay true to ourselves, run the risk and dangers inherent in that, but still be able to thrive? And sometimes that means making some decisions that are courageous and brave and risky, but for the sake of our own souls. So that's what I do. And I'm happy to have a family that supports that. So we have just a few more minutes before we close out. Maybe some of you can tell, how many of you are empty nesters? So if you want to post how many of the empty nesters or soon to be empty nesters, that would be great, because we want to know who's out there that might be in similar situations like us. And then secondary to that, what are you looking forward to again as you go through your journey? Now, some of you might just be thinking about the future. You might be still young and going, I don't even want to think about being an empty nester. So not all of this is going to be focused on the empty nester journey, but again, our own journey. So thanks for tuning in. So Jason, let's kind of close out to what can they see from us next, and maybe when they can see us next.
Well, I guess you have something to show them. Then don't you have something pulled up?
Yeah, I do. Okay, so I want to share a video that maybe we'll leave you with. And oh boy, this is kind of scary to share this video. Part of it is
Oh, that's how it starts.
yeah, it starts with
Oh,
your
geez,
face. So
come on,
let me set this up, Jay.
oh,
Yeah, because you gonna screw it up. So let me set it up. This is, remember, whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you. So so here we go. So in 2020, March, everything was shut down. And
yeah,
we were literally, Jason and I had just talked about all the things we were going to do because our oldest son was in college and our youngest son was about to go to college. And we were like, all right. So we had just come from New York City because Jason, your cousin, had a wedding. We were in New York. We saw Ain't Too Proud. We were hanging out during Valentine's Day. We had like this romantic dinner in February. And then in March, we were going to go to the mountains. And then we were like, had all these plans, like kids are out. We're about to do this. And then bam, everything got shut down. So we had to think about like, what are we going to do next? Because now the kids are home. So 2021, our son went to school. He went to away to school, and our oldest son moved out. And so we were like, all right. So we went on our first trip. Now, again, this is still in the middle of the pandemic, so all these precautions, but we stayed at an Airbnb. And this video is of us having that empty nesters moment. So
joy.
enjoy it.
Now.
Yay. We're traveling. We're traveling. Free. Right, Jason?
Look, man, no hands.
Oh, stop playing. Okay, daggone it. We just got our freedom. We don't want to die yet.
Ooh, the cops.
I can't even.
Hello, officer. How you doing? Black cops. Bagwinet.
All right, where are we heading, Jason?
We are heading to Panama City, Florida, where there are not that many black people, but there will be this weekend.
Yay! And why are we going?
Because we're free. Free.
Yay! All right, my turn. So, well, you can see us in here. We are free. Freedom.
Well, we have to pass through Alabama, so, there's a lot of cotton picking still over there.
All right, well, sort of freedom, a little bit of freedom, then full freedom. Hit it, Jason. Freedom.
Free.
So that is how we became empty nesters. That was the start of the journey that we are on. And we have so many videos of us just doing fun stuff, spur the moment. You get to see some of our raw personalities. And that day we were going to Panama City Beach. Like it was like we're about to go into some water and just go away and try to just find ourselves. So yeah, that was our trip through Alabama into Panama City, Florida. And we've been back again this past year. Now we didn't do a song and dance behind that, but there it is.
Yes. And you know, we are going to go have some throwback videos too, because I have a library of them. So we're going to have some fun with all of this.
Yeah. Well, we thank all of you who are tuning in this evening. We appreciate the 30 minutes, actually 32 minutes and 47 seconds that you gave and listening to our story a little bit. We will be back in a few weeks, hopefully the beginning of November, where we're going to have a YouTube channel. We're going to have a Facebook page, and you'll be able to follow us once a month as we share a little bit of our story on, again, Facebook Live and YouTube. Finding Us Live. Look for it very soon. Bye.